Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
Every day.
I ask myself a lot of questions every day. One of them is definitely who am I, where am I, and why this week we have such incredibly serious people on the show. Serious people in serious times with serious monikers and serious minds. Canadian Syrup, a practical paragon punching petunias and prancing, no pants on. Ghost 404, the 407th of his kind after Alpha, Beta, and Kappa declined. And Brian, the 6th member of X-Force who stayed safe at home with donuts and short shorts. Welcome to the Relay Station. Hi, everyone. It's Saturday, the best day after... Wait, no, Saturday is the best day, isn't it?
See?
Yeah, welcome to the Relay Station.
Friday's the best day because then you have Saturday upcoming and you have nothing else to do. Your obligations are gone.
But Friday, half of your day is gone because you're at work half the day. Whereas Saturday, you've got the full day off and you know that you have nothing the next day because the next day is Sunday.
But then you're one closer to Monday.
But Friday, you're one closer to Monday than you were Thursday.
By that logic, Tuesday would be the best day, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Hey, Tranquillarity. Thanks, Tranquillarity. Yeah, you know what? We might get a rant in a bit. But first, it's time to open a beer and maybe talk a little bit about the news of the week. So this week, I'm starting with an interesting beer that caught my eye, and any beer that catches my eye is one that I immediately put in my cart and spend way too much money on. Space Invader. I thought it was really cute and cool, so I bought it, and now I'm going to open it and try it, and that's my story.
So we're going to have a live taste testing, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's an IPA.
IPAs have definitely become popular.
Yeah, it's not too hoppy. Not bad. Not the greatest IPA I've had, but it's definitely passable. I will continue invading that as we go.
Do you feel an oncoming sense of doom after drinking it?
Sadly,
like
no. No, it doesn't. It looks like pixels.
Do you feel things falling around you?
That's my life every day. So, hey everyone, Canadian Syrup, how's your week been?
Busy. It's good. Busy, but good. I did a PC repair yesterday that I didn't need to do, so that was fun. Replacing what I thought was a bad pump and turns out to be a bad power supply. So as soon as this stream's over, I'm headed to go get a new power supply.
Important. How about you, Brian? How's your week?
It was good. It was short, which is nice. So, just been, playing Andromeda, unfortunately.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have to beat it.
I mean, you really
Make it sound so horrible.
It's a chore. It's a chore.
How about you, Ghost?
Doing good. Doing some work stuff, playing some Deep Rock, rewatching The Expanse in various frames.
Oh.
Started rewatching season 1, whilst also rewatching from season 2 onward, and I'm just in the middle of season 3 again.
Did you hear the news about The Expanse?
I should probably watch The Expanse at some point.
You
Hey,
haven't
Bang
watched any
Show,
part of it yet?
how's it going? I've watched the first episode twice.
It's really, really
You
good.
should
Like
probably go to the next episode now.
Yeah. Stormy, Nakar, and I have been watching it every 6 weeks together, having a dinner night.
Nice.
Because that's what our schedules seem to only be aligned. And it just gets better and better and better. And we're just like, man, yeah.
I know I need
Thumbs
to
up.
watch it, but are they out too low volume wise?
Fix your shit.
Okay. So let's talk news of the week, and let's move over to show and tell because we can. Actually, we're not going to start with that one. Let's start with some recoil. So it sounds like they're working on weapon animations more for the FPS and also recoil for the FPS. They're saying it's not canned. It's more like whatever the opposite. Yeah. I wanted to say, I don't want to say procedural because I hate using procedural because everything is procedural now, but I wasn't sure what else to call it. Ghost.
Dynamic.
Yeah, sure. It's more dynamic. Ghost, you're a pretty avid FPSer. What are your thoughts on this recoil?
I was gonna say the only thing that I really care about is I don't want random deviation. They're not going for, which is basically the only reason your gun should not shoot where you're aiming. You're not aiming in the right spot because the gun is recoiling, and that seems like what they're going for, which is good because that's something that you can.
You can account for, right?
Yeah, you can account for. You can try and pull your mouse down. You can pull it to the side. You can do whatever, and you can also more than likely, from what it's looking like, you can also do burst firing as opposed to just full auto to actually negate some of that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have random deviation, it just it's a crapshoot.
What do you think, CS?
No, I agree. It's the whole deviation mechanic is a way to level the playing field with expert players and shitty players. And honestly, when it comes to first-person shooters, if you suck at it, I'm sorry, get better. Like it's rewarding to play a game and get better at it than just the only reason why you're able to succeed is because there's a handicap in your favor. You don't become better at playing video games because there's a mechanic that lets you be better. It's because you physically take the time to get better. And for all those people that go, well, I only have 4 hours a week to play video games and stuff like that, well, then eventually you'll get better over time because like, sorry, you're playing a first-person shooter game. This isn't fucking Hello Kitty Online. Grow up.
Wow, harsh. CS bringing out the truth bombs. Okay.
Well, I just hate handicaps in first-person shooters. What can I say?
Wow. What about you, Brian? How do you think these animations and the recoil are looking?
I'll just say that whenever I play a game like Borderlands, where it is random, and I'm aiming at something and it doesn't hit where I'm aiming, it pisses me off. So I'm happy that they seem to be not doing that. So I agree with both Ghost 404 and CS.
Fair enough. Moving on, they did a little bit of talking about ship AI, which is something that they're working on. I kind of found this clip decently impressive. There are a lot of ships doing a lot of different things in that clip. Like, stuff is going down.
It looks like EVE Online.
But better. And no spreadsheets.
Exactly.
And
I
also,
think I counted 38 ships when I was looking at that earlier.
Oh, you counted them. Okay, well,
Yeah,
38
I paused it
ships.
and was like, okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there was a lot of ships, and that's impressive to see. And I'll be real interested to see what Squadron 42 looks like.
Yeah.
If that's representative of a big space battle, and
Yeah.
that's just fighters. It looks like.
And that is something that people have been wondering for a long time is what will an actual large space battle look like? And if that's what it looks like, one, it looks chaotic as hell. No, that's it. It looks chaotic as hell. That's all I got.
Yeah, there's really not much you can say to that.
No, it's. I will say though that it looks like the Connie here. The turrets look to be firing a lot better. I'm hoping that maybe, but we'll see.
When was turret improvement supposed to be in? Is that 3.2 or 3.3? Because I know it was going to be.
It's soon. I hope it's.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if that came with Hurricane or came with the Hammerhead.
Gameplay.
Don't
I know that was in the schedule, and I don't know when, but I'm assuming sometime between now and 3.3 they will be.
Remotely operated
fixed.
turrets. So it's 3.2.
Yeah.
Well, not even remotely operated, just
And improvements
Better.
to man turrets.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
So-
So hopefully,
that's what I figured.
hopefully we're getting some improvement to the turrets soon because it looks a little better. It looks like they're actually kind of tracking that ship out there. We definitely need that. So
I think that
go ahead.
I think the big thing with turrets though is the way Star Citizen is set up, no matter what they do, I mean, they'll eventually get turrets to a place where people are happy with, but I don't think it's going to quite be like other games where you have this like, well, because they could cheat, right? Like they don't have to render everything and all that kind of crap. So for people wanting to be able to track a ship 360 degrees, yeah, good luck. You just, there's going to have to be a bit of pilot working with the gunners. You know, it's like in a World War II bomber. You're not, you know, there's going to be places where you cannot shoot them. You got to wait for that one angle and pray they come in front of you.
I hate to make the example, but Sea of Thieves actually did it really well. One of the few good things about Sea of Thieves was the ship to ship combat, which was your cannons only have about this much of an arc.
Mm-hmm.
The rest is your pilot, like your navigator has to, your captain. Thank you. Words. Your captain has to line up your ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the captain doesn't line up the ship right, you don't get the shot. And I like that. It's more like, okay, sure, you've got the greatest gunner ever, but you've got me flying the ship. The gunner doesn't bloody matter. We're going down.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see that a little bit in the clip when it comes back around to the Constellation fight, is he's staying parallel to the other guys so that both top and bottom turrets can get a shot off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whereas other
Fast
people
card
would
is
go,
here.
no, I need to move my ship and so I could shoot with my Connie. It's like, no, your gunners have to have their turn too. Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, Fast Cart, congratulations on the new cart. Looks
You got a new cart?
yeah, new cart. Looks
Holy
fast.
shit. Is there flames on it?
Would it be speed stripes?
I do believe Disco Lando said that he needs a red 1 license plate on it.
Hmm.
But yeah, congrats on the new cart, Fast Cart.
Apparently, it's
Okay,
not as fast as he's almost as fast card.
almost as Fast Cart but fancier. Oh wait, why is this not? Okay, that's not.
I hope he's got spinners and he's got like neon lights underneath and shit.
Uh-oh.
Maybe some hydraulics.
Huh. Close that. Please close. Please. Oh, maybe I can go to this. Sorry, I'm having some issues here. Got it. Okay. Phew. Everything was glitching out there a little bit. This looks bloody gorgeous. This scrap heap that they only show like 5 seconds of, and they say that it's for a location that they aren't even telling us about, but like I know that you can see the same thing over and over, right? Like it's pretty repeated, the junk objects in there, but it's still bloody beautiful. That is a scrapyard.
Shit's
Yeah.
cool, yo. Well, even if something's repetitive, it doesn't mean it's automatically boring. If you have the right amount of detail in there, you could see an object that's the same as another one, but it could be positioned in such a way that you see a different angle of it, and there's more detail on the other side. So technically it's the same object, but the way the objects are designed,
Yeah.
you may not necessarily see the exact same object the same way every time.
To me, it
The
looks
lighting
like
does help.
yeah. To me, it kind of looks like everything, like stuff has fallen on each other. Like that's
Mhm.
piles of junk are hard to do in games because objects hate touching each other. But if this is procedurally generated scrap, I think it looks pretty good. Ghost, any thoughts?
I was gonna say procedurally generated garbage is pretty good. No, it looks nice. I'm assuming it's Kirsten and Orville vaguely this one.
You're
walkthrough of
you're
Orville.
cutting out a little bit occasionally there, Ghost.
You're cutting out.
Am I? I wouldn't be
He
surprised
is a
if I
ghost
were.
after all.
It's true.
No, it looks nice. I'll be curious to see if it's as good as their planetary tech has been getting, where you don't notice, the fact that it's not tiled, but you get the idea.
Yeah, when you go up to a certain distance and it just looks like, well, yeah, no, I get what you mean, yeah. I was
So
gonna
my
say, fields are
question-
kind of like that in real life. No, go ahead.
So my question is, Are these going to be like individual objects that are being rendered, or is this something that's like a texture that's baked on like the surface of the planet, and it just looks like it's
I'm going to
three
imagine.
dimensional?
I'm going to imagine it's a texture, just a ridiculously complicated one, because I don't see how they could performance wise do that many objects. But then there's some pieces like right like now ish, you can actually see there's part where you can see under one of the pieces and see the ground on the other side of it, which I don't normally think you can do, like a log that you can see under as one. I don't know. I don't know.
It might be a common because some games actually are clever in the way they do it. Is that they have junk piles, but there are certain objects within the pile that are selected to actually become an object. Because otherwise, yeah, I think that would just be too many objects for it to render on your screen. It would just take up so much computing power. But they may have it look like that, but then only certain objects are actually salvageable or whatever, so that it looks like it's real, but only some things can be interacted with,
Yeah.
which I'm fine with. I can to expect every single piece there to be able to pick up and stuff like that. Fantastic. We're not near 2050 yet. Like we
Yes.
don't have that computing power.
So, Ghost, what are your thoughts on? They were talking a bit about the differences in locations, right? So you'll have a pristine ship, then you'll have, we've seen the derelict ships, like the completely destroyed ones, but they did show us a bit in this clip of ships that are sort of midway. They're incredibly damaged, but they're not like crashed yet. What do you like? Your thoughts on what that'll bring to the game, if anything?
I think the biggest thing that's going to impact is not the large scale salvage, like tear the ship apart, go in here and salvage some things out of the ship before reclaimer shows up. But they showed this similar a while ago now, I forget when, and it was terrifying because it was like straight out of Alien. You were sneaking around this ship that I don't think you could hear anything because I think the atmosphere had all vented, and lights flickering on and off, and it was like, that looks really impressive, and I'm just waiting for a xenomorph to pop out of a wall behind me.
Or a bug to just go on your face mask and freak you the fuck out.
Pretty much, yeah.
Thank you for that, because I hadn't thought of that.
Yee.
Brian, any thoughts on it?
I mean, this is, well, to me it seems like it's something that they've covered like a while ago, maybe not as recently, but like Ghost was saying, it kind of reminiscent of the walkable derelict that Nathan Dursey did, and you got that alien vibe from it. I guess my only thing is, are these what's the difference between this and a derelict that's still somewhat active?
I wonder if you could maybe repair one of these to fly it even slightly, right?
That's probably it. Yeah, derelict is something that has been completely rendered inoperable, or at least in a state of non-mobile repair. Like you can't repair it in space. You have to bring it back to like have a crucible or something, pick it up, and actually repair it. But yeah, which would be pretty cool to try to see. Like seal off the bulkhead.
Well,
Fuck
like
those guys on the other side. I want to live.
You can even see in this, like some of the displays are still active. They're showing alert. There's some lighting still on. So I kind of wonder if you can't, like, these are something that you can't maybe repair, or I don't know. I think they look pretty though.
I think it looks cool. It's good to have, it's too many times we've played games where it's like, you're alive, you're dead. You're alive, you're dead. There's no like in between kind of like damage states where everyone's kind of been like, you're flying. It's everyone wants a flight simulator in terms of damage, but they have to deal with, it's either on or off in terms of status. So,
and that's something I kind of want to ask you guys about, because in one of the articles that Commander Llama wrote recently, he was mentioning something that I still think is a really interesting way of looking at it, is that each ship is like, it's each ship is more gameplay, right? But now if it's not only like your pristine ship is one element of gameplay. That's where you and your crew fly it around and explore the verse. And then there's another set of gameplay from that same ship when it's derelict, crashed on a moon or something, and you're exploring it and scavenging it. And now are they going to have even a third set of gameplay where there's a ship that's badly damaged and you have to go in and it might come apart at any second and you might have to repair it or shut down the power or they're getting so many different gameplay variations from each of these ships, and they have so many. Ghost, what do you think? Stop me ranting.
The other thing that this plays into is the fact that at one point, well, on multiple points, they've wanted the idea.
You've cut out a bit, Ghost. I think you need to play a little with your attenuation in Discord, possibly.
All right,
Sorry.
I'll try and talk louder. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. So the thing with this is the fact that there's another option for this, and the fact that they've already said that they don't want ships to be destroyed when you shoot them as much. They want to try and disable them. So, like, especially with larger ships, like think Constellation size and bigger. So I think this will play into that a lot, where you can damage a ship so badly that it's disabled and floating, and then go over to it. And if there's people still alive, you can shoot them. You can save them, whatever. But that also gives you a whole lot of extra things that you can do in a situation where right now, something the size of a reclaimer, if you damage it enough, it just explodes, and it's done. Whereas this gives it the option to really damage it and disable it, and then go over to it and start doing things like even like something as simple as piracy. You can't do that if you just destroy the ship, which is what you are right now. You really don't have that middle ground of leaving it alive, destroying it. That's all you get.
I mean, we really will basically be able to have the Kobayashi Maru situation in this, where you've got your ship in pristine fighting condition facing off against a bunch of other ships in pristine fighting condition, while at the same time trying to either protect or rescue or a ship that is a ticking time bomb, right? Like, I think that's kind of cool. Yeah.
I actually do have a quick question, since this was for Squadron 42.
Yep.
Now that they're building out more areas and making things a bit more final for the Bengal.
Yes.
Do you think we will see the Bengal in Squadron 42?
Oh yeah.
I'll actually be able to fly into it and explore it.
I feel like it might be a set piece at some point. I don't know how much exploration of it you'll get, but part of me feels like they've said something about this before, and I can't remember it right now.
I think they've said that it will be in the first chapter, but it's not going to be
It's not
a
your main
focal
ship.
point. Yeah, it's going to be something you'll probably come across, but not something that you'll be able to like fully explore or anything. Like, you might be able to land on it, but I don't think you'll be able to like get out, go inside, and all of that stuff, because they'll probably reserve that for chapter 2.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. So that's just my hypothesis. So they don't have to put as much effort into it right then and there, but they can have it, ready to go for chapter 2 or something. I don't know. This is a big freaking ship.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
I was gonna say, I'm
Welcome,
pretty sure.
welcome.
Go ahead.
Disposable. Hey, sorry. Go ahead, Ghost.
I'm pretty sure the Idris is going to be pretty much you can go anywhere. That's your main ship. I think you start ish there. I'm pretty sure the Bengal they were trying to get it to a pretty far along point, because they were talking about how the hangar bay worked, and they showed a lot of imagery of that, and they talked about how they had to do the monorail system on the ship because you just didn't want to walk around it. So I'm assuming that that's kind of a indicator that you're going to be walking around that ship. I think the big one that you're not going to see, or you're going to see as a very basic set piece, would be the Retribution, because that one they're like not even close to being done with.
Yeah, I would agree
Both,
with
I
that.
think, in lore and also in just building it.
I want to quickly touch on this animation they showed of the difference between trained and untrained troops. I think having that difference between AIs will matter hugely, especially on a large ship, where let's say a ship is the Bengal is breached, and the attackers, the first people that they come up against are just regular people, or they may be fighter pilots, or they may be cooks, they may be anything else. They won't necessarily be Marines that they're coming up against. So I think that's really an important difference to make between the people that know how to take cover and the people that walk out in Rambo.
Yeah, no, it's AI reacting in such a way that you actually have different sets of animations that portray what their skill level is goes a long way. Like, it's really frustrating to play a game where you have your difficulty settings, but the only thing that changes is how fast they could just one shot you in the head. Um,
Yeah.
I think a good example of, rather than just scaling health or whatever, I mean, they do to some extent, but in Killing Floor, the enemies, every difficulty, they actually have different combat animations. So they will do very basic stuff on normal, then you go to hard, they gain another ability, go to, really hard, and then you just, a lot of stuff changes, so you can actually see the difference, not just go, oh, they deal more damage, or oh, they have more health. Like, it's very boring, where something like this, it's nice that you feel like you can tell what you're going up against without having to necessarily find out the hard way by getting shot all of a sudden halfway across the map.
It's something I always hated in Borderlands of, okay, it's 1 level above me, I can kill it. It's 2 levels above me, I can kill it. It's 4 levels above me, I can probably kill it. Oh, then it has a skull. It's impossible. I cannot possibly do anything about it. It's better. Sucks. Anyway, Ghost, any thoughts before we move on to some scanning and mining?
No, I was very impressed with how they did that. The fact that they were doing it in general, and how I liked when they were talking about it. How they explained how things like when you were untrained, when you ducked out of cover from the right side of something, you'd stay right-handed, as opposed to a trained, shooter would switch to his left hand to be able to minimize the amount of body he has to put out to take the shot, and
It's more
things
important.
like that. And then
It's more important that you don't get hit, right?
That's kind of important, yeah.
Yeah.
And then watching one of the untrained people like have his gun like at his hip type thing and go out and shoot it, I was like, that's not a good idea, but also that's exactly what you'd expect from someone. So
Yep.
Rambo.
I like it.
pretty much, yeah, it was really nice to see, and some of their animation work is really impressive.
Yeah. Brian, they showed off a little bit about scanning and mining this week. What are your thoughts so far on? They kind of went a little more in depth to, you'll send out kind of a pulse, and then you'll be able to hone in and get details about the specific thing you're honing in on. Also lighting yourself up like a Christmas tree. What are your thoughts in general on how they are tackling, how they're taking a swing at scanning?
I was gonna touch on that because if you look very closely, the golf ball
See
swing
what I
is
did
right
there?
there.
See what I did there? Swing.
I got it. It was very good. I like how I like how they went into detail about at least how the first iteration is going to work, and how they want to, in later patches, add it to every ship so that we all don't know each other
Yeah.
and we actually have to scan. But the science behind it, I know this is more rule of cool than realism. You can't really send out a ping, like, there's no transmission for the ping to be registered on every other ship. So, I mean, my suspension of disbelief is maybe broken a little bit there, but beyond that, I like it.
Ghost?
I'm really excited for scanning in general. One of my ships will probably end up being a Terrapin. I'm kind of with Brian on this one, where I'm curious how they do it, because things like a name above a ship type thing is going to be something the ship is going to be broadcasting. So I don't understand why you would need to ping the ship to get that. At the same time, I'm a little concerned with the idea that I'll be curious to see how passive scans work, especially in something as heavy on scanning as something like a Terrapin. Because if you're sneaking around with a Terrapin, like hiding in an asteroid field, and you want to be able to keep an eye on things, scan things, whatever, and you have to ping and announce yourself every time you need to find something, that seems a little silly. It's a little different when you're trying to ping for material, like minerals, like in the prospector, but for keeping an eye on like other ships or things like that, I'm curious to see how the passive sensors work, and if they can work as well, even if they're not pinging like that. If that makes sense.
It does. CS, what do you think about scanning and mining? Like, scanning is going to be pretty much completely mining oriented for 3.2. We're not getting like the full scanning suite at launch. Are you okay with that? Do you think they should have, I don't know, prioritized that more? Or
No, because you have to start somewhere, right? Like, if you work on something and it works, then you can expand upon it, right? If they do this implementation and people don't like it, it's best that they put their effort into one thing than just doing this whole thing and have to scrap it from, like, go back to the drawing board. So focusing on one thing is a better approach, and they've been doing this obviously throughout the entire project. You focus on one aspect that will affect everything else. So if it goes right the first time, then you don't have to waste all that energy on redoing everything. So as far as the whole pulse thing, I mean, I can't really think of any other way. You're it's like your radar. You ping, you figure out where stuff is, the general idea, and then you use your different systems, different frequencies to hone down what it is. Like, I really really like the scanning in Eve, because there's a lot of, it's not just you hit a button, boom, that's it, you find where you actually have to position your probes in a certain way, have them actually warp to said coordinates that you link, and then actually look on the different frequencies where everything is. So it'll be interesting to see how it actually feels. But no, it's good that they're starting somewhere and not just going, let's do everything at once and then have to redo it if people don't like it.
now we should be getting 3.2 within the next month or so, correct? It's
Yep.
June, right? Yeah. So
End of this month.
end of this month is 3.2. Are you guys excited? Like, 3.0 was a pretty big change from previous. 3.1 was not like, it was an improvement, but are you excited for the first, like, mining is kind of the first extra gameplay we get in a while.
Since the PU.
Mining is, how excited are you for there to be something new to do? How much does this matter for Star Citizen, period? Ghost?
It'll be nice to see mining. 3.2 is one of the ones that I'm interested to try a lot of things out, but as far as like big changes in playing, I think that's going to be a 3.3 thing. 3.2 is going to have things like mining, but being restricted only to the prospector. It's kind of one of those things where people will be like, okay, let's try this out, especially during PTU when you basically have all the ships. You'll try it out, test it, this is cool, and then only the handful of people with prospectors are going to be doing it when it's live. Stop peeling your key.
What is this?
It's a scam.
I demand a
do-
refund. Sorry,
I'm
I'm
way too
sorry.
excited about that.
I'm sorry. Um, CS, are you excited to try out some mining?
Well, I love mining, absolutely. My thing is search and rescue, but I am absolutely interested in mining. The only catch is that I don't have a mining ship. So are they going to give everyone maybe a loaner to try it out, or what's their plan with that? Because otherwise, then honestly, like as cool as the update is going to be, it's one of those things where if it's not my relevant profession, I'm not going to necessarily jump on in on it because I'm just not going to be able to do much. Because there's this whole mechanic behind the fact that you need to have this ship to do it. If there's hand mining, that's different. Cool, awesome. But I don't think that's going to be in this. It's just prospectors, right?
I know the hand mining was supposed to be a thing. I haven't heard much about it recently, so I'm not sure if that's still the plan.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be attached to like the all service Swiss Army pistol that you have.
Yeah.
Utility pistol.
So for me, it's like it's cool, but if I don't have anything like that to do, then I mean, I'd probably find some other stuff. Like, is AI 3.2 or 3.3 for the FPS?
FPS
The
is
combat
3.2.
AI.
Like not like walking around. I'm talking like if you play like I don't know Star Marine or some shit like that.
FPS combat AI is 3.2, and AI flight behaviors is 3.2.
I think the only thing the AI got pushed from 3.2 to 3.3 was the landing on planets.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. It'll be actually nice to see how the AI fight.
I'm looking at it now, and I can never. I love the roadmap, but hell if I can find anything I want when I'm looking through it. Where's buying ships?
I don't
It's
think
not
it's
on the
listed.
roadmap.
It's not on the roadmap, eh? Because that seems to me like something that would be pretty important sometime soon, especially when it comes to things like the Prospector. Like, you know what? No, I want to try the Prospector. I don't own one. I don't know anyone that owns one. I'd like to be able to rent one and try one. Because right now, the only real way to do that is in free fly weeks. Like if they did a Prospector free fly when mining comes out, which CIG, you should probably do a Prospector free fly when mining comes out. Just saying.
It would be silly for them not to do that.
Yeah.
They will probably do that.
Because you don't want to lock. Because there's already this whole with the whole grand package shit that people are losing their mind
you
over.
started
Like,
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Are we starting that now?
There he goes. There
No,
he goes.
not yet. Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, not yet.
Not yet.
Miku has a question that I actually don't know the answer to. I was under the impression that mining would be voxel deformation based, or is this just placeholder implementation? I think the voxel deformation was for like asteroids in space, whereas this is on planet mining. Am I correct?
From what I remember, yes, that is correct.
And this definitely seems more small scale, like mining a rock, as opposed to mining like the actual body.
Because they had talked with the Orion about like you get the asteroid and you scan the asteroid in depth, figure out where everything is in it, and then you blow up the parts that have nothing, and then you laser out the parts that have something. Like there's a lot more in depth for the asteroid mining, whereas for the on planet mining, and this is something that I was actually wondering, because if you look at what they're doing here with the Prospector, they're basically just shooting a laser at a rock while flying. But all of the Prospector concept art shows the Prospector landed with the drill pointing down going into a planet. So I really feel like this is a first implementation. Like, yeah, you can fly your Prospector along the surface of a planet and blow up rocks and grab stuff from them, but that in the end, down the road, is not going to be the most efficient way to mine with a Prospector. It's just where they're starting. And I could see them starting this way because, yeah, you could blow it up with a Prospector, or you could go along with a hand tool and do the same thing. It's just a rock. You could blow it up with whatever the hell you goddamn want, right?
Yes, and the other thing to keep in mind is the fact that at the moment moons and anything like that are hollow, so mining into them would not really work at the moment.
Yeah.
So
But
I'm curious to see if asteroids truly are some kind of a voxel based where you can actually destroy them like that.
That should come down the road. But we'll see. We need more information on that, and I'm sure we'll get it at some point. But I think mining looks like it's coming along pretty well. So as always, thank you to I want to turn that off. Thank you to Haramis for providing us with those videos, the GIFs. He cuts them from ATV, which is super handy because it takes a lot of time. He's actually at a Bar Citizen right now. Anyone out there at a Bar Citizen, drink up. Anyone out there not a Bar Citizen, why the hell are you watching us? Either find or organize a Bar Citizen near you because they're fun. But now, I'm sorry, CS, but now it is time.
Before you get into your rant, turn off the green screen on my section of the screen, would you? Couldn't figure out what the heck was going on.
On your section of the screen. Bottom left. Is it filter? Can I turn that off? Oh, that's a green. I see. There. That better? Should see in a second. Don't know if there are any questions
There
about
you
that.
go.
Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
rant away.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Honestly, this is a really difficult rant for me because I don't even know where to begin. It's just so goddamn stupid. Like, this is just so goddamn stupid. A whole bunch of news, I don't even know what to call them, but I want to call them something derogatory. All exploded this week. Oh my god, guys! Star Citizen is selling a $27,000 kit. No. Daughter is home. So, I would like you to all take a moment. I'm going to be silent for about 5 to 10 seconds. I would like you to fill in my cursing in your own imagination. Go ahead.
I like fruitcake. You know what I really like? Whipped cream and strawberries. You know what else I like? I absolutely love people and everything they stand for. They're just goddamn beautiful. I just love every single one of you. See, look at my face. That's how much excitement I have.
They get basic information wrong. It's really not hard to find out information about Star Citizen. And I understand. There's a lot of games that you can't get that much information on. Do we have any information about Fallout 76? No. Do we have any information about the next GTA? No. Do we have... And there's so many games that there's no information about, and I understand how so many articles are written theorizing without any bloody information. But when it comes to Star Citizen, there is so much information. There is a wealth of information. We are a website that does nothing but provide Star Citizen information every single week. It's all we bloody do. And we're not the only ones. There are other people to go to too. If people don't know about us, there are bigger people. Board Gamer is pretty huge, and all he does is Star Citizen information. All over. There are tons of people to go to for actual information, not to mention the bloody developers themselves. So when articles go off spewing crap about $27,000 packages without getting basic facts right to begin with, it's insulting, and it sucks. Who cares if there's a $27,000 package? Guess what? The people who want to spend $27,000 on this game, Clifford aka Miku, and a bunch of others, they've already spent more than that. If this is CIG saying, hey guys, you've spent a lot, we're going to consolidate everything into one pack so it's all there for you, great. Good for them. They can already spend it without the pack. The pack does nothing. So why this fake furor over it? Oh, right, I guess it's time to start trying to get clicks by claiming Star Citizen is a scam again, because that brings in clicks, because you're bloody shit. You have no point, you have no purpose, and you are failing to things like Twitch, to things like YouTube, because you haven't kept up with the bloody times, and all you're trying to do is mine bullshit for clicks, and that's what you get. You're pieces of shit, and I hate you.
Wow. Does that feel better now? I think we'll know after this.
Cheers to a good rant.
Now I feel better.
There we go.
Sorry about
That's
that. How are you guys doing?
That's better. Yeah, it's definitely anytime there's anything that is remotely controversial, even though this isn't really controversial, it's very easy to spin it in a way that can grab the attention. $27,000 for a game, right? It's really easy to get people's attention that way. So in some ways, I don't blame companies doing that because pretty much every site that I go to did it. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the only thing CIG could have done differently was maybe not have that $1,000 minimum. But even then, who cares, right? A lot of people at the end of the day seem to miss the fact that you need to only spend $45. That's it. Less than a AAA title to actually get Star Citizen and play the game. But a lot of people
Did you know that Call of Duty had like sponsored Jeeps, went in with a sponsorship with like Jeep, that you could get a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 styled Jeep? How much does that cost? Like 60 grand? No one gives a damn about it.
Those are two very different things.
I know, but it's just the $27,000 pack is filled with ships that all the people that get the $27,000 pack, they've already bought. All the ships were already available to buy. You're not getting anything extra. It's just a consolidation of the pack. It's all there already. Like, they're not getting a Bengal with their pack, right? Like, I just don't understand.
Unfortunately, people don't look at it that way.
I don't understand, guys. I'm sorry.
Fast
gonna
credit, I
say-
think that is the case. I think if you don't see these packages until you spend 1,000.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that the community kind of asked for, because as it was, if you were a new backer, or not even a backer, but you're just a new person, and you went to the website, the sorting on the package page was ridiculous. So like literally, like the first thing was like the completionist package, 15 grand.
The
And
only
people are
thing
like,
that show up, the only thing that should show up if you haven't got a package is a package. Once you have a package, the only things that should show up are ships under $1,000. Once you've hit $1,000, then fine, give options for other stuff. Because guess what? Clifford doesn't need 14 of each ship. At this point, he's buying them to support the game because he has money to support the game. I don't have money to support the game. I run Relay instead to support the game. Like, people do different things. People do what they want. Who cares? Just, who cares? Nah. Sorry. Ghost, would you like to weigh in and take me down a notch?
Not particularly.
Sweet.
No, I mean, the only thing, my thoughts on it is basically, I mentioned this in the Relay thing. It's Bart, the Cupcake, and the Electric Shock all over again, in the fact that this happens every time some insanely high price thing comes out. But I don't know why that's actually in the store, considering the kind of people who are going to spend that kind of cash. They can easily just talk to concierge and say, hey, can you link my account, or set up my account to be able to buy this thing? Sure, click.
Yeah.
The amount of people who visit the site versus the amount of people who are going to buy that is ridiculous. But whatever.
I agree
The other
with you
thing
there.
someone mentioned was the fact that if they keep doing this, maybe it's because they want the news sites to pick this up, because it basically puts Star Citizen back in people's minds again. But
I hate to say
that
it,
seems
but I hate to say it,
counterproductive.
but there's an orange Mussolini in power right now who very much liked the any news is good news, right? Any news is good news, whether it's negative or positive. It makes people think about you. I don't really agree, but I'm not part of CIG, so hey.
Whatever.
Yeah. Sorry, I did promise a rant.
If that was the rant for the week, then we're doing pretty good.
That was
yeah,
that.
I was gonna say we are doing it pretty good.
I did the most ranty part silent.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't hear
you
me.
did spare us that.
I just turned closed captioning on and got it all.
Did you got the
Oh,
part
I
where
didn't know that
where I
feature
told him to
existed.
deep throat a cactus? So let's move on to question time. You know the drill. Throw us some questions, or I sing you a song.
We still have to work on that question time jingle.
Mm-hmm.
It's question time. Ask us your questions, or I sing you a song. Sort of like that.
Got some Sinatra going on over here.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on today. Yeah, throw us some questions. Exclamation mark, question mark. You know the drill. Yeah, we've got a few already, so thanks to everyone that's thrown them in. Let's get started. Ashley asks, what ship that is currently not scheduled for a rework should get reworked as fast as possible? The Freelancer. Done. Moving on.
Not the Freelancer. Freelancer's perfect. I don't know what you're talking about.
Variants aren't perfect though.
No, that's true. That was the face of anger if I ever saw it out of Eris.
It was nice having CS on. Unfortunately, he died in a horrible, tragical cake batter accident. I cut it off screen just in time to save you all from it. It was horrible. I'm sorry.
Misk, so it's okay. It's okay. I understand.
Sorry, I muted you as well. What was that?
Son of a bitch. And you missed a golden opportunity. You said cake batter. Why didn't you say syrup?
Because I'm not Shiver.
Like, it was literally
It
the
was
lowest
there.
hanging
It was
fruit.
there.
The lowest hanging fruit you could have easily just
Yeah, I'm sorry.
and gone with it.
Yeah, I'm fired. Ghost, what do you think?
I forgot the question already.
Oh, what ship needs a rework that's not scheduled for a rework?
Oh god, a lot of them. Why is the freaking Hornet so goddamn big? It doesn't need to be that big.
Because it's
Why is it so
the
horny?
5th worst ship in the verse.
Oh yeah, you mean your list that was completely backwards? Yeah. The Vanguard definitely needs some love. I got that like when it first came out, and then I don't remember how long it took me to melt that thing because it was not great. The Avenger's already getting reworked, which is needed and will be very nice. I'm sure there's plenty out there. It depends on why they want to rework. Reworking to work in the engine better, I can't think of anything at the moment. Reworking as far as their role and everything, I'm sure there's plenty of them out there. I don't necessarily think the Freelancer needs a rework, although, I mean, everyone here knew that was going to be the second word out of your mouth.
Excuse me for a second. I need to mute and. No. I think
The Endeavor's terrible.
the Witch.
Certainly not the Endeavor.
The Endeavor is. You'd actually have to read the article, Ghost, but the Endeavor is an aspiring piece of technology and shows that the game is going to be so much more than we thought it would be. The Freelancer, though, it's completely outclassed by the Cutlass, not to mention just about every single other ship out there. It's got no role anymore. I really strongly believe that the Freelancer has no role.
Carries more cargo, has bigger guns, will likely be more fuel efficient.
It's got bigger guns, but the guns have nowhere to shoot at unless you can line something up in the front, which you can't actually tell if you've lined anything up because there's no view. It's like it just I don't know. I personally
I can dogfight well with the Freelancer, so maybe I'm doing something different there.
Oh, I'm just a bad pilot. Ashley asks, are there too many ships threading on the role of the Freelancer?
Of course not. What are you talking about?
They know you too well.
They do know me too well.
The freelancer has its niche, and that niche is nothing. So it does it very well.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I agree with that.
Bang Chow said it in chat. Has toilet.
Yes,
It does.
that's its niche. It has a shitter.
They
They took the shitter out of the cut list, therefore it is now inferior.
The Freelancer is not a combat ship, true. It's a cargo ship, but why would you use the Freelancer as a cargo ship when you could use a hull, A or B or C as a car? It doesn't have a role anymore. Not nearly as much of a role as it was supposed to in the original. When the Kickstarter first happened, it was supposed to be the smallest ship that could, or the largest ship that could fit through the smallest jump point, or it's not the jump point, the smallest jump point.
Jump point is the word.
Jump point. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, jump
All right,
Smallest
folks, you heard,
anyway.
heard it here first. We're going back to 5 ships and 5 ships only.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or make
Well,
my
so-
freelancer better.
Why don't they just get rid of the A and B of the whole series, and there's where the freelancer fits.
No, I think that they need to widen the freelancer slightly so it doesn't feel like you're standing in the cockpit of the smallest aircraft ever built, and they need to make the front view a tiny bit better. That's
Why don't they
about
just
it.
take the whole cockpit off and just
The
there you go.
the Starfarer has a better view than the freelancer.
Maybe that's the purpose. They want you to have a better view in the more expensive ship. Therefore, you want to buy the more expensive ship.
No.
Eh?
Freelancer needs work.
Eh?
Ashley asks,
Oh.
we know that players might be able to own production nodes, but do you think that orgs will be able to own enough of these nodes to do all of their munition production in-house?
Wait, so he's asking if you can control enough production in order to supply yourself without having to go through a third party?
Yeah.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Like an org to supply itself with ammo without having to go buy ammo.
I don't think you'll be able to make it so you theoretically have infinite ammo in that sense. Like, are we saying like within the org they still have to get the materials?
Yeah, they have to. They control the nodes. They have to get the materials and manufacture the weapons, or the munitions. But then they don't have to go and buy the munitions from Joe Blow's munition hose.
Holes.
I think maybe it's possible. I don't know 100% sure. I could see that as an incentive, but I don't think they would allow it to get to the point where you control this node and therefore people who want to buy ammunition have to pay an absurdly higher cost there. Like, I don't think the player will be able to manipulate it to make other people pay. Maybe they can benefit themselves, though, like you're saying, like the org. I could see that happening, just not like Monopoly.
Ghost, what do you think about the munition stuff?
I'm not terribly sure that it matters, because of the whole percentage of player base versus percentage of NPCs. I see things like creating ammunition for kinetic weapons, as far as like bullets and such goes. Maybe things like missiles and stuff. There's so much that goes into a missile as far as the computer stuff and the explosives and the actual propellant and everything. I don't know, and I just know that I don't see Test Squadron making Auroras fast enough. I don't see it.
Two things. One, Fastcart has started with the clipping. There's the first dirty clip. Thank you, Fastcart. Two, Wardaka, Blowjo's munition holes needs to be a thing. Yes, I think that is an excellent shop for Inverse. Thank you. Let's make it happen. Okay,
I'm pretty sure Rudy 2 Splint and Shooties are going to have a problem with that.
No, they're competition. Idris Carrier asks, has there been any news on scanning when you're not in a ship, like when you have to travel on foot on a planet? And if the scanning is tied to the helmet HUD, how does it work when you don't have a helmet on, say, Terra or Earth? What we do know is if you don't have a helmet, you don't have a HUD.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. If you do not have a helmet on, you do not have a HUD. Also, they have said that just like there will be varying levels of mobiGlass, you could have your... everyone gets a basic level mobiGlass if you subscribed at like, I think it was like 20 or 30 million. You got a military grade mobiGlass. So there will be different levels of mobiGlass. There will also probably be explorers mobiGlasses and such. HUDs inside helmets will likely be the same. If you're wearing a really light helmet, something that's just a visor and no under whatever, you'll have a different HUD than if you have, you know, a heavy armor HUD thing that has no outside view at all. It's entirely armor, and you're just seeing HUD on the inside. So yeah, HUDs will be entirely different. mobiGlasses will be entirely different. It's all going to depend on what you're wearing, and if you're not wearing a helmet, you don't get a HUD. Ghost.
See, I'm a little confused on that one because I'm trying to look it up now, but I'm pretty sure when they did the original mobiGlass deep dive that there is a... It's basically like a ocular implant, like almost like a contact lens that gives you a small amount of information that ties to the mobiGlass. And at one point, I think it was pre 2.0, maybe a little after 2.0 when we had Arc Corp, there was a secondary section of the mobiGlass that you could turn on and like see players' names and stuff like that above your characters.
There was.
So I'm curious to see how all that is going to tie in. I know they did a question about that on Ask the Devs this week, and I kind of glossed over it.
Did they this week? 1 second.
Yeah, it was just this week that they did it.
No, this week's... Hang on, I did just watch Ask... or Calling All Devs. They were talking about the UI difference between Star Marine and the Persistent Universe because of floating names. They know that floating names are turned off in the PU because they cause lots of issues. The issues were basically a planet is circular, and you'd be over here, and the other person would be over here, and as they come closer, you start seeing the name before you see the person, and then the names cross over, and it was causing issues. It is on the backlog of things that they want to fix, but there are higher priorities. They do want to bring that back for the PU, but they do also want to figure out, they don't want it to be like lots of games like, say, Battlefield, where if they're an enemy, they've got an orange triangle over their head, and if they're a friend, they've got their friend green name over their head, because you immediately know that everyone that doesn't have a green name over their head, you shoot, right? They don't want it to be look 2 kilometers away and see a person standing there and another person. You don't want to know which one is your friend and your enemy through the HUD. You're too far away. So they're working on the name stuff. They don't want it to be too simple, and I think that's also going to tie into your HUD and your visors as well, because they don't want it to show too much info without a HUD. I don't know if any of what I said makes sense.
I understand it, but I think what Goose was talking about was at that point when ArcCorp came out, they didn't really have a unified HUD system that we do have now. So they just made an in-game diegetic like contact just so they have some type of HUD. I don't know what they plan on doing in beta or at release, if that's still going to be a thing, but I think that was just like the progenitor of the HUD system we have now.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a wait and see for a lot of that stuff, unfortunately.
Agreed. Okay, Fast Cart's Old and Busted Cart. I remember that cart. It was a nice cart. Asks, seeing the estimated 38 ships, thanks Ghost, flying around during the most recent ATV got me wondering, would you think that scanners should have a number cap for the number of entities that they can follow? And what number do you think it should be or could be? And what kind of unconventional use for scanners would you do in-game as of right now? I want to do a quick roundtable on that. My thoughts is just the different level of scanners. If you've got a base scanner, maybe you can only track 10 targets at a time. If you've got the best scanner in the game, maybe you can track 100. I don't know. CS?
Well, they did talk about, and this was a while back, that there are going to be different kinds of scanners, and they're going to be good at certain things. And obviously, a more powerful scanner is going to require more energy in order to actually get up to what you need it to do. So there will be a lot of fine tuning and figuring out what's really important to you and what you can live without. So you want to be a dedicated miner, you want to get the best, absolute best, scanner for or middle scanner or whatever, but it's going to come at the cost of, well, you get into combat and you're screwed. Well, if you're a prospector, you're screwed anyways. So yeah, no, I definitely like variation. That's kind of really what Star Citizen trying to do, to give you options. So
Ghost?
Is the basic component of this question just how many things can we have scanned at one time in a given ship? Yes, okay. We kind of already have that with the different levels of targeting computers, as far as like this one
Right.
can lock on to
Mhm.
one target, this one can lock on to 2 or 4 targets. I wouldn't be surprised if it basically is exactly what you were explaining, Eris, where a better scanner in a bigger ship is going to track more things, whereas in something smaller, you're going to be able to track X amount of things. And then if you need to track more than that, you're going to have to basically reacquire them, like rescan them to be able to retarget that thing. So
Mhm.
like say an Aurora can only scan, 4 or 10 things. If there's 20 things and you want to target that number 11, you're going to have to rescan it to acquire it, and something
Right.
else will get basically unscanned and like pushed out of memory almost. And that's a guess.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Uh, Asgley asks, I think it was Ashley, but Asgley asks, drop pod dropping ship, Brian?
Drop pod dropping ship.
Yes.
I don't know. Since we already have the parasite ships for the Carrick and the Connie, I don't think we really would need like a pod to drop ships, or maybe for the Titan armor.
Technically, you could make the Retaliator into one. It just
Dropping
wouldn't
pods?
be individual pods. You would just drop the actual.
Could you?
Uh,
Can you drop those though?
Well, that's what I'm thinking is no, but maybe you could get a module that would enable it. But
That'd be
it's
cool.
one of those things where if you wanted ODST style, you're going to need to have something like an Idris.
Yeah.
And even then, it's pretty doubtful. Like, you're better off just taking a ship and just inserting them. Do a hot drop, do a halo, maybe do a halo drop. That's something you probably could do. As far as drop pod go, they haven't said anything about it, so I don't expect it.
Same kind of components with the Vanguard as far as being able to drop that center section, although that's not really something you want to do.
No, it's kind of meant for
But
you
then you've
drop
got
a load of troops out.
Yeah, but then you've got things like the
The A2 has the bombs that can be dropped out, so maybe.
yeah, where's Jake when you need him? What the hell is it called? Not the Prowler.
Prowlers.
Prowler, as far as the dropping troops and stuff like that. To be fair, we don't really have drop pods at the moment, so it's not really something we require a ship for yet. But
It might
the idea
happen.
of dropping Titan armor with one would be interesting.
I like the idea
Sweet.
of dropping it. I like the idea of having like a fleet of retaliators flying over, and like each retaliator drops 3 Titan armors, and you being like, well, that's game.
Are you thinking maybe the concept like Edge of Tomorrow, where they
Yes.
have those
Yes.
carriers where it bottom drops open and they're hanging
Yeah,
there,
and then they just
the-
drop. Yeah, exactly
I think
that.
that's pretty on par with what the Prowler is supposed to do.
Yeah.
As far as that just has all the little doors that open and everybody just kind of
Yeah.
drops out. As far
Yeah.
as if they have like the repelling lines and that, who knows? But that's
Yeah, or the Covenant. Well, I mean that's a far fetch, but the Covenant dropship and the side open it.
Okay, so 2-year-old tuna salad sandwich asks,
That's oddly specific, by
It
the way.
very-
Just like,
That's very specific.
with how medium to large to capital class sized ships hardpoints layout currently is right now, do you think we should get more broadside rear facing configurations for hardpoints rather than forward facing like conventional fighters? Sort of like dorsal and ventral placement. Do larger ships need more broadside and rear-facing weapons, I think, is the question here.
So they're kind of thinking
Uh,
Star Wars in the sense that the ships, they don't point at each other. When they get close enough, they do broadsides.
or
Mm.
submarine, or
Well,
open water
that
ship
that
combat.
Connie in that vid was kind of doing a broadside, right?
It also depends on the ship because there's plenty of ships out there that have that.
Capacity.
Think of like the
Hammerhead?
hammerhead. The
Yeah.
hammerhead is specifically designed like that, versus something like the Polaris is designed to go head on. It's designed to shoot its missiles. And it has smaller turrets, but those even then are give it pretty good coverage. Same with like the Retaliator. They're a little smaller, but they give good coverage. And then there are ships like the A2, the Hercules, where it's not designed to do that. It's designed to shoot down, and so all the turrets are designed with that in mind.
I mean, I think everything is supposed to be weak somewhere,
Yeah.
right? The best way to make a not weak ship would be a Death Star that has weapons equally spaced all the way around the sphere so that you can attack everything everywhere except for your weak point.
That's a brilliant plan. What happened to that Death Star anyway?
It blew up an entire planet.
And then
one pizza boy
And
accidentally
then
went down the wrong.
billions and billions of people died.
it was millions. Don't over exaggerate.
I think that they couldn't count
Yeah,
because
Luke Skywalker is a genocidal maniac.
Yes.
Crazy.
He killed all those people.
it's
all
true.
those people.
It's true.
What about all the baristas, all the fucking cafeteria guys, like all those support staff to make that thing
I mean,
run dead?
You
All
have
because
to
they
remember.
were forced to work for the Sith Lord.
You
So
have
Luke
to
thinks
remember.
he's justified, but he's really a mass murderer.
That Death Star was the size of a moon, right? And if you land on a moon in Star Citizen, can you imagine filling the surface of the moon with people? And then imagine that the entire inside of the moon was also people. There must have been like hundreds of millions of people that lived and worked in that Death Star.
I wouldn't say hundreds of millions. I would say a fair chunk of people
That's
for
a-
sure.
it-
Probably a million, but
There
Yeah,
were
no,
there
Luke's
were
a
at
murderer.
least 700 Bryans, okay?
Mhm.
And maybe one ghost.
At least there was one ghost on that ship.
At least one.
Obi-Wan.
Ghost or corporeal, so like they don't really matter.
They don't matter? Oh, that's
Yep.
beautiful. Oh, I love it.
He gets it.
Okay.
boy.
L Scanner, that scans for LTI on ships, asks, what's your favorite part from this recent ATV content-wise? Was there something that you wish CIG would expand more upon?
Yes, I want to know how we are able to get more detailed information because it was kind of sketchy on how they described it. From what I gather, you pretty much have to keep your reticle on something, and you get more data as the longer you keep on it. But I could be wrong.
Furious typing.
Sorry. I had to type. It was imperative. Honestly, I think my favorite part was the showing the different animations for the FPS stuff. I'm glad that they're focusing on FPS because Star Marine sucks, and if Squadron 42's FPS missions, which they've said there are quite a number of them, if they feel like Star Marine. I don't know, Ghost. You play more FPS than I do. How do you think Star Marine feels, and how would you be if that was a single player campaign?
You want it to be a single player campaign? Like, you mean separate from Squadron 42?
No. Like if the gun feel of Star Marine was the gun feel in Squadron 42.
Right now, meh. I haven't played Star Marine in ages, but from what that looks like they're trying to do, I'd be pretty okay with it. But like I said, they've still got a way to go with fixing it. They just showed the some of the gunplay off this week and such. See, I don't have access to the question deck. What was the actual question again? Because I had a thought.
What is your favorite part from the recent ATV content-wise?
Okay. The funniest thing about that is the fact that we had an entire ATV dedicated to this, and we have yet to talk about it. The eclipse. No one has said boo about the eclipse.
I skipped it. I'm sorry.
It's an interesting ship. It's incredibly laser focused on what it does. I'm still really confused and curious how they are going to make a ship that is designed to do a no skill button press to destroy a large capital ship matter in a world where a also no skill button press negates those missiles. I don't know how missiles are going to work, especially or torpedoes in particular, as far as you just basically lock onto something, push a button, and deliver a shit ton of hardware versus someone on that ship pushes a button and launches chairs, flaps, whatever, and makes it go away.
I think for torpedoes, which are going to be slower than missiles, it's going to be less. They probably won't work with chafe or stuff. It'll be you have to shoot down the torpedo.
Which is great because if that's the way that it works, that's great. Like if it takes a while to lock on and you can't just do a quick flyby and chuck them, but then they have to be shot down, that's a pretty decent balance. But I haven't gotten a chance to play with torpedoes in the PU at all. But
They don't exist yet, do they?
no, because the Retaliator has them, I think, identical torpedoes,
Oh,
and then the
okay.
the Gladiator, I think Gladiator still has them, but they're just significantly smaller.
The
there's smaller
Gladiator
classes.
just has missiles, doesn't it?
No, it has a one or two like smaller class.
I think there's
Currently?
supposed to be 2 or 4,
I think so.
but I don't think
Oh,
there's any
okay.
way to launch them
They're in the
individually
interior
from the
bay.
missiles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how that will work. The only thing that made sense to me was using almost like a TV missile type thing, like where you have to actually guide it in, or torpedo, but then it has to be shot down, because then you have skill on both sides of the equation. But yeah, the current torpedo play is a little confusing to me, but I'll be curious to see how that works and if it actually is something that's interesting, because I like the idea of being able to go toe to toe with a capital ship with the little teeny single seat fighter. But how is that balanced? This is a
I mean,
pretty looking ship, but
Well, I don't think a little small fighter is going to be able to kill it, though. It's kind of like in Eve, you could have a frigate go against a carrier. The carrier will have a hell of a time locking on, or I should say, actually, not a bad example. Battleship versus a frigate. Battleship will have a hell of a time trying to kill the frigate, but the frigate's also going to have a hell of a time trying to kill the battleship. So it's possible, but that doesn't mean you can be successful.
yeah, the thing with that is, I forget where I was reading this, but I think it might have been the original Q&A. The idea is that the torpedoes that it carries, if it shoots all 3 of them, you should be able to destroy bigger ships, being like, Constellations and Retaliators and stuff like that. But an actual capital ship, you're just going to soften it up. You're not going to be able to take it out with all 3 of them. But yeah, the thing you were talking about was kind of the gameplay that exists between things like the Hammerhead and the Polaris and stuff like that, where it's like they're really good at what they do, but they're not necessarily supposed to go toe to toe to each other, because that's just going to be kind of a mess. Because the Hammerhead's not really designed to fight a Polaris, whereas on the opposite side, the Polaris isn't really designed to fight the Hammerhead because it negates its missiles, and the Hammerhead can't really go toe to toe with the Polaris as much. But
and I heard somewhere that it will take about three retaliators and all its ordnance to take down a capital ship. And I think that was actually from Chris Roberts, but that was like maybe 3 years ago.
It's
yeah, and this
one
was
of the
more recent. I
hardest.
think they were talking about 2 eclipses going against like an Idris, and it was like they would.
One of the hardest things that I'm finding is balance, right? We just don't know how they're going to balance almost anything. Because they've said they've said X number of Hornets should be able to take on a Connie, and X number of Connies should be able to take on it. But it's all dependent on things like player skill. Let's say you've got me flying one of the Eclipses, and you've got, Ghost and CS, who are great at FPSs, shooting down my torpedoes from the Idris. My Eclipse I probably won't get a torpedo to you, right? Like we're gonna have to see in game, and they're gonna continue to tweak it for a long time, I think.
And the other half of that is the fact that a lot of stuff just straight up can't be balanced right now because half the systems aren't in.
Yeah.
I mean, look at something like the Terrapin, where it's supposed to be this, little scanning ship that's tanky as all hell. A, there's no scanning yet, and B, there's no armor on that ship yet, or at least not the way that it should be.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to balance when systems aren't in place.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate thing is, people will, flock to one idea and another, but it's like until you have everything in place, you can't really formulate a proper opinion, like you can
So, like, there's a time in game development where everything's in, and where they actually do all the balancing.
That's just a
That
myth.
kind of time.
No, that's just a myth.
No, you're supposed to shit on them at every point. Like, don't you know that? Like, they come out with something that's a work in progress. You're supposed to shit on it as much as possible.
Balance
Because
happens
that's
in
how you
white
get
box.
your
Everybody
opinion.
knows that.
Yeah,
Man, I've
exactly.
been doing it wrong this whole time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, what are you doing? Get out of here. Come on. First golf swing concept, shit on them. Fuck them for doing that crap, right? Screw that. Who would ever come up with such a hideous concept, right? Oh, wait, it's work in progress. Oops.
I hope that when fishing comes into this game, it's a golf swing.
I hope that
Yes.
just to screw with people. Oh, man.
It's the only way fishing works, is it has to have a golf swing for fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
I want fishing trophies. I want a fishing competition that's held weekly, and whoever gets the biggest fish, they get a big fish. Yeah.
I agree.
That's your trophy.
Okay, we have actually a lot more questions to go through in only 10 minutes. What do you guys think? Should we try to get through all the questions regardless? Are you guys okay to stay for slightly longer, or?
Well, let's pick some good questions, not just pick go through every question.
Okay.
If your question sucks, I'm sorry, but it just means you're horrible at asking or giving a question.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with fast carts because it's fast cart. Part question, part announcement. With the purchase of my new cart, this means that I can't afford to go to CitizenCon. Would those of you who are going please be sure to have a blast for me? That is the saddest news I've heard all week. Fast cart is awesome, and I was really looking forward to hanging out with Fast Cart at CitizenCon. So, damn, I'm sorry, man, but I'll do my best to have a good time for you. 100%. I'm really
Moment of
sad.
silence for
Yes.
Fast Car not going.
You will be there in spirit, Fast Cart. I'm really sad now. Sorry. Judo asks, do you think they'll have hand mining drill or laser in 3.2? No.
Or else they would have shown it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless it's supposed to be this surprise, which they don't do that anymore.
As I said, that was the plan. I haven't seen anything, so I'm guessing that fell away from being the plan. But who knows?
Fast Cart asks, with the Titan armor release, will Ghost 404 change his avatar to that?
Probably. But I'd have to actually get it and have the money to buy it with shitty cargo runs and then record it and all this other fun stuff, so.
Do it. Jiro, yes, if possible. But not us, because we're not large enough. But we'll see. Maybe some people will talk to some people.
Top men?
Didal asks, will all ships be able to mine in the update? Nope, just the prospector. Skittish.
Even then, I don't. Sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, even then, all ships aren't going to be able to mine, anyways.
Yeah.
Even if it's implemented the way it is, it's like some ships just won't. So.
Skittish AI in combat cover asks.
Sorry, that's. Oh, these names are gold.
Some of them are fantastic.
Are you skittish now too to answer this question?
No, I'm just modules in the Caterpillar what types of modules would you like to see? 3 types. Okay, so
Sorry, I laugh because I answered this question last time I was on the show.
yeah, I know.
It's fine. Go ahead. I'll let you start, Ayers.
So the first one is a ramen restaurant that the doors of the Caterpillar open and serve ramen outside of it, right?
Fifth Element style, where it's a little
Exactly.
cart that comes by.
But it's the
No.
medium. It's the medium restaurant. It's like a truck stop, a mobile truck stop restaurant, whereas you've got the smaller one, which is like the ramen shop in Fifth Element.
No, does each one come with its requisite like Asian dude?
Yes, of course. The second module I'd like to see is one where like you look like you're a whole bunch of there's a giant tracking suite or like data suite in one of the modules which spoofs your Caterpillar to look like it's loaded full of cargo and incredibly weak. And so pirates show up to attack you, and then the cargo doors open, and all it is top to bottom size 6 weapons that fire out the side in one blast.
I like that idea. You could also spin it in that it's a spoof signature where it will make it look like there's a whole fleet of ships around you.
That too. And a
And your
third,
third one?
Caterpillars
Something,
flying
something
along.
strip club.
Nope. Caterpillar flying along in low atmo. Opens its sides, and people start like basically by hand dumping out scanning probes that fall to the ground, fall to the planet's surface, impact the planet's surface, and then scan the area around it. The Caterpillar basically used as a giant sonar, like ships that are looking for wrecks on the ocean floor. They go over and they do passes of the entire thing, right? So the Caterpillar would be used to do passes over a planet's surface and drop scanning charges that would drop, hit, scan an area, scan all along. Yeah. Does anyone have something?
God, you take forever. Vehicle repair bay. A vehicle repair bay for any of the smaller vehicles would be cool.
Yeah.
A med bay, because I'm lazy and that's a cool thing. And a weird one would be one that has a opening at the bottom for some kind of like not a grappling hook, but like a claw and or like a magnetic grabber thing that just goes down and picks stuff up. So if you fly over something that you can't really land the ship near, you can grab stuff and pick it up. Salvage and or
I like
mine
that.
or whatever.
The claw. Yeah, I like that. Brian, any others that come to mind?
I'm not that creative, so I'll just say an amalgamation of what you two just said.
Yes. If you
First
wanna-
and foremost, search and rescue module. Absolutely. I want it so that there's a torpedo tube that you put yourself in and it launches you towards the appropriate ship. But it also calculates the distance needed and it programs that into your thrusters so that you automatically slow down based off of the distance needed. And then it also has a wire attached to you so that when you do have the patient, you click on the wire and then you attach them to this whatever raft, whatever, and it pulls them back into the tube. Pocket carrier module, obviously, because everyone's going to want it anyways. So basically haul out, get rid of the catwalks and everything so that you can fit perfectly, a bunch of dragonflies or whatever in it. And 3, I would like a module that hollows out the entire inside, and then on the third module that's closest to the back, closest to the cockpit, it holds the actual weapon itself that extends the barrel all the way to the front of the Caterpillar so that the bottom opens up and then it drops down this massive size 10 cannon. And yeah.
I like that. Hey, VL
Size 10,
Damos,
like a
thanks for
size
the follow.
46.
Yeah.
I like that one, CS. Okay, let's get through the rest of these rather quickly. Mayonnaise15 asks, do you think that orgs will be able to blockade planets to prevent supplies from getting to them? Yes and no. Chris Roberts has said that yes, you could theoretically blockade a planet, but as soon as you start blockading a planet, the people on the planet and the people trying to get to the planet would start trying to get to the planet, and eventually the UE would probably show up with a Bengal and destroy your bloody blockade. Unless it's a planet that no one cares about, who knows? But yes, theoretically, an org could, if it had enough members and enough ships, blockade. But it
And
is
the
also
system will probably bring out, like, generate jobs for blockade runners. So
yeah. You have to remember how big a planet actually is, and how hard it would be to like. I challenge you to find 100 people and stop me from getting to one of the moons in Star Citizen.
and it's not
I
going to
think-
be like Star Wars, where
I think it's possible to
ships.
limit the supply chain, but not to cut it off completely. Like,
Yeah.
I can see you making it so that ships get through, but perhaps a limited amount, and you will drive the price up. But at the same time, the gameplay, the way, if it's designed correctly, it's going to go, hey, there's some assholes at this planet. Here's a mission to go blow up 3 guys, et cetera, et cetera. And the UE, depending if it's UE controlled space, will ramp up protection on that sector until eventually the AI is going to win. But how fast it takes for them to ramp up, don't know. And if it's lawless space, it's
They might
possible that they will abandon that planet temporarily so that, okay, you've cut out supply, but then they've gone to someone else and then they've reconfigured the supply chain, and now your planet that you've cut off supply from, now it's worthless to even bother doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Ghost, any thoughts?
I was gonna say the one thing you can probably do, not easily, but more easily than trying to blockade an entire planet, is you can temporarily blockade a trade route. So if you have common trade going from planet A to planet B, and you block off, basically a straight line shot between those 2 planets, that's something that you could probably do with org relatively easily. But trying to blockade the entire planet from every direction is going to be a losing battle.
Yeah. Pretty hard.
Ashley asks, how large should Titan suits be?
Oh, what? Who here's played the Tiberium games, like Command & Conquer Tiberium Sun and
Yep.
stuff like that? What was the name of the walker that was slightly bigger than the size of a person? Was it called a Wolverine? I'm trying to remember. I'm looking it up right now.
So I'm pretty sure they said that they had to redesign some of the capital ships to be able to have those things walking in them. So I'm guessing that it's going to be nowhere near like the size of a mech.
No.
But probably less than double the height of a person.
I'd say like 10 feet.
Yeah,
10
somewhere
to
in that
12.
range.
I was going to say 3.1 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wolverine. That's what it is. Yeah.
They're not supposed to be mechs. They're powered armor, right? Like they still look like a person and are the size of a person. They're not like BattleTech mechs or whatever, right? It's so
Like Exo Squad.
Yeah, and or the power loader.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
or
Hulkbuster would be
Hulkbuster.
probably
Hulkbuster.
probably at the high end.
Yeah. So, but we'll see how those go. Fastcart asks, if floating names are causing problems, how will CIG implement chat bubbles, which was promised 4 years ago? Kappa.
Chat bubbles.
I don't recall that.
Well, they've already said there's going to be like in-game audio, right? So if we're talking like this and you're too far away, you simply won't hear me. Well, if you're too far away and I'm typing to you, you won't see my typing. If you are out of range of the audio, you're out of range of typing. Done. For say typing. For typing that would appear like on your MOBA glass, maybe that can be further, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I could see you having a toggle that you could see that, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
Oh, fuck. Idris Carrier. Female character.
Wait, are you saying the Idris carrier is a female?
Idris character asks female character.
3.4.
End of year.
6.2.
3.4 playable female characters scheduled.
I kind of hope they don't release female characters because you're gonna get all those nerds that do nasty things with them. They're gonna find some way to just make them do asinine things. And judging by the look on your face, yeah, it's about right.
The original Grib asks, will the Prospector sale be before or after 3.2 releases? I'm not going mining without a ship. It'll probably be announced when 3.2 releases, won't it?
Yeah, that's generally how they do. If there's a ship that's a focal point of the update, like or a mechanic, usually the ships that are appropriate for said content will be available for purchase at the same time.
And you know the ones that are coming into that patch are always available.
Yeah.
They did that with the last one.
And judging by the recent timescales of sales, it's probably going to last a good bit of time.
Yeah. Okay, so that's actually it for the questions. Thank you to everyone that asked questions. There were a lot of them. It was fantastic. Let me just mark this. Okay, before we start wrapping this up, Ghost, do you have anything else you want to mention or point out for this week?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. I knew scanning was going to be a big thing. Touched on the Eclipse. I didn't finish watching RTV, so I can't really speak on that much, but I think it was mostly just covering scanning more. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of things develop. The only other thing that wasn't mentioned that got brought up in chat a while back was the 3.2 has branched now, so they're gunning to get that to Evocati in the near future, and they've got about a month or so before release. So
yeah, it's on track. Anything else from you? Any announcements or anything you'd like to say before we tap out?
Nope.
Cool. Brian.
I think we covered everything pretty closely. But the beer I was drinking today came from Germany, and you can only get it in Germany. It's a Weiss beer, it's a wheat beer. It's called Augustiner. Very delicious. I highly recommend it if you ever do go to Germany.
I'll have to go to Germany someday. CS?
I don't have anything Star Citizen related to say, but I will end off with this note. Thanks for the trade war, Trump. Let's hope you don't win.
Don't worry, he won't. God, I don't even know what to... Wow. Just wow.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it either, because, man, I could rant. I just want to say that Trudeau has been throwing so much shade. It's been delicious.
Why I dropped the bombshell at the end.
Yeah. Keep in mind, there is the Podsat Saturday going... Or wait, no, it's not. The Astropub is closed this week. Crap, never mind. Take that back. I believe... Schedule 6-2 closed. Yeah, there is no Astropub today. But that means nothing because the week after, 6/9, that's next weekend. Next weekend is two things. One, it's the relay station right here as always. Two, it's more than one thing or two things. How many things did I say? I don't even know. It's many things. One, relay station right here, same time, same place, different people, but always me. I don't know why. You should probably get rid of me. 2, I'm going to be on the Astropub at 2 hours after this show ends. Why? I don't know. We're going to talk about something. 3, that is E3 weekend. Keep in mind, we'll probably be posting something on the Discord rather shortly this week. A number of us are going to be watching and live streaming and commenting on E3 because we love to do it, because E3 is fun, has nothing at all to do with Star Citizen, except that keep in mind, Star Citizen is at the PC Gaming Show this year. So, tune into that, hang out with us. Next weekend, E3, going through the week. We'll probably be streaming it through the week as well. Have fun with that. Enjoy us. Watch it. Words, phrases, people, places, things, and we'll see you in the verse.